Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. This is Kavita Ramchan from Life Success Coaching in Mauritius. So I remind you that I'm reading the book You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor every Tuesday and every Thursday. And today is Thursday. So I'm reading you chapter 5. We're already on chapter 5. We're literally in the middle of the book. So, and this chapter is very exciting, which is called Expect an Abundance. Because you see, it's very easy to say, I want something, but at the same time, if you don't see it happening, you're not expecting it. And if you really want it, you want to actually expect that it's coming your way, right? You cannot say, I want a sunny day and then always thinking it might rain, it might rain. It's not going to work, right? So let us continue reading. So he says here, in other words, your ideal, your dream, or your goal, this wealth that you wish to see materialize, can only become a desire once it has been properly planted in the subconscious mind. See, everybody wants something. And I say why? Because we are geared to want. That's how small children are. They are the forms of the divine. And actually, this is how people are supposed to be feeling good about wanting more. They should never feel guilty about wanting more. By feeling guilty, we are stopping our higher self, which is our spiritual self, from expressing this world because you have come here to experience the world in its fullness until it will be one day time to go. But are we doing that? Or are we stopping ourselves and keeping all our desires inside? Right? That's where disease sets in. That's where all this depression and all that comes in because the body is no longer at ease. All right. So you can only see this, you have to plant that desire in your subconscious mind. And today I would like to tell, if there are parents who are listening to me, parents, grandparents, because I tend to attract a lot of grandparents, what we are, we pass these beliefs to our children. And if we take charge today of understanding that, okay, I did not know about this and I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to change my mind and see, because if there is something that has to do with my kids or my grandchildren, I would definitely want to pass over to them a better mindset. And this is based on the laws of the universe, which are God's laws, God's modus operandi. So one, change is part of it. If we don't change, we don't grow, right? So I can vouch for this because I came out of 7 years of depression just by learning this, by studying this information. So now he says, however, once your desire has been firmly established, it is the expectant attitude which ensures that your goal or dream is not uprooted or replaced by any opposing or competing ideas. I'll give you a very simple example. I used the example of kids before. They don't have doubts that Santa Claus is bringing them a gift. They are going to be polishing their shoes because they believe that by doing all that, Santa is going to bring them their gift. Okay, now let's say we are adults. So let's say you book a ticket to go somewhere in a month's time. Are you not going to be doing your shopping, your preparation, and all because you've already bought the ticket? Means you're not expecting that you're not going to go, right? The fact that you bought the ticket to travel is already telling you that you are going. You don't have to wait to go to start preparing. So it's exactly the same way you are expecting it to come to manifest in your physical reality. So you take the necessary steps that you need to do so that you see it manifest. You don't get paralyzed by action, you know? Because this is where a lot of people get stuck because they're like, they don't really believe it's going to happen. But you can borrow people's belief, those who have already done it. Bob Proctor had done it, and he tells people, borrow my belief until and unless you find out for yourself. I mean, we don't have to be the pioneers. We don't have to reinvent a wheel here, right? So, in an effort to help you kindle this expectant attitude towards real wealth, let us journey together through some of the preceding chapters in this book. As you will remember, we began by discussing money. We attempted to understand the true nature of money, and we arrived at the conclusion it is a useful, obedient servant. However, like all servants, we learned it is useful to us only when it is being employed. You won't get a servant to work for you and then you will just tell her to sit and not do anything, isn't it? Therefore, we concluded money must always be kept working or otherwise circulating. See, money, I always use this example to people to make it clearer to them, especially those who are really like having a hard time. I tell them money is exactly like it's energy. Take a deep breath. Don't let that breath out. Hold it in. How long can you hold it in for? You have to keep money circulating like that. It has to be easy flowing in your life. It comes, it will go because it has to be used. It is like a tool that you need to keep in use. Because if you don't let go of that breath, you're going to suffocate, right? So it's exactly the same. It's energy. You have to let it go. You have to let it go knowing that it's going to come back. That's it. And let's say somebody doesn't want to let it go. The universe has to send something or some circumstance for it to come out of your system. So you want to change your mindset around money. Because even if you attract it, even if it manifests in your life, and you haven't changed the way you think or the way you deal with money, it is just a matter of time that it will find its way out again from your system. It's the programming that has to change first. The way you use it that has to change first. All right? So, for if it is not, as we have already mentioned, it will become as useless as old newspapers stashed away in an attic. And we don't want that. And there was a generation before us that grew up with those kind of ideas. It's not their fault. They were around a lot of scarcity and problems, but we are not living in that kind of world today. We are not. But then those beliefs of our parents and grandparents have passed down to us also. And we will see that manifest in our life at some point, and we are like, why is this happening to us? And this is what we call paradigms. And in my coaching, I help people shift their paradigms because it's not the way to live, right? Okay. Next, we explore the idea relating to exactly how much money you want. You become aware of the fact it is necessary to be very specific about uh, how much money you need to provide the things you want to live in the style you choose. I think, let me just see, I think I haven't read that in my other. Okay. I think I'm not sure if I read this in Creole because I usually go hand in hand, both sides. But let's say I did not read it. So let's continue. You become aware of the fact that it is necessary to be very specific about how much money you need to provide the things you want, to live in the style you choose. Once this figure has been decided upon, we then examine the importance of building the image of ourselves already in possession of this wealth on the screen of our conscious mind. We also talk briefly about the manner in which images are formed and the role they play in our lives. See, if you want to drive your dream car and just wishing and hoping that it comes, God is not going to just put a car like that in your life. That's not the way it works. The way it works is you have to entertain the idea and say thank you that you're driving that car right now in your mind. Psychologically, you have to think you're doing it and then you have to feel it. And you have to that's the consciousness that you already have it, right? If you don't get to that point in your mind, you won't see it in your real life. Then we examine the idea of consciousness and how it was imperative to develop the prosperity which we seek in our mind first before we can ever attain it in our back books. We learned how we had to bathe our conscious minds in a concept of prosperity and how we had to see wealth as being already in our possession. See, it's like this. You want something. First of all, I want you to want because many people are afraid to want because I was there. I know it because I was so highly spiritual that I felt, we should let go of the material world. That's the that's the most worst concept I had in my mind because your material world is basically a reflection of your spiritual world, your psycho emotional world, your inner world is actually creating your outer world. So the outer world is just a reflection of what's going on inside, right? So what's going on inside is how will you know? It's about how are you feeling. Your feelings are the real secret. They are telling you at every point what to expect. If you're feeling sad, be ready to face sadness. If you're feeling happy, be ready to face happiness. If you're feeling grateful, be ready to get more things to be grateful for. And if you're feeling lack, I don't have, the universe just says, God bless you. That's it. So you want to say, I have. You want to feel you have because you want to be side with God, side with the higher power. Don't side with the material world. It will show you everything. If the outer material world is only to give you feedback that, okay, yes, I'm happy. Now I go and create more, and I create more, and I grow, and I keep growing, and I keep growing in my own ability to create more and more things in my outer world. Isn't that great? I mean, I love that idea. So I'm going to stop here for now because I want to keep at par with. I also read this in Creole. So I'll see you next week for another session. We are continuing this book. And until then, keep manifesting. Thank you, everyone, and bye bye. Have a wonderful weekend.